Whoosh! Hey everybody, this is Wolf. Welcome to Iberia, and today we're going to be talking about how the Romans used urine as mouthwash. Yeah, that's kind of gross. We're going to be talking about that and 4 other facts about the ancient world. So let's dive in. So this first fact actually suggests that toilet humor was as popular in the ancient world as it is today. The world's oldest joke is actually a fart joke, and it was recorded on a clay tablet around the turn of the 2nd millennia BC by the ancient Sumerians. Now, this joke goes something like this. Something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A woman that did not fart in her husband's lap. Well, I actually don't find this funny. We probably lack some cultural contexts right here, okay? Because it must have been funny at the time, I hope. Anyway, the second oldest joke is somewhat funnier than this one, and it was written on 1600 BC by the ancient Egyptians. And it goes something like this. How do you entertain a bored pharaoh? You sail a boatload of young women dressed only in fishing nets down the Nile and urge the pharaoh to go catch a fish. Because he's gonna be entertained fishing, because that's all that pharaoh enjoyed. It was young women, and that's kind of it, okay? Again, we need the context for this. It has been written about King Snofru, or so we think, and he apparently was a guy who really liked young women, so, you know, they just did this. Okay, we do lack the context, or maybe they're just bad jokes. By simply scouring Twitter, I mean, we can see that our world's filled with bad jokes, isn't it? So the next 3 facts are all about ancient Rome, because this is probably my favorite civilization to, let's just say, study and to know things about, okay? Romans, Greeks, Carthaginians, they're all fascinating all this period of time. And with the Romans, it's quite interesting, these ones. And the first one is that Romans had takeout restaurants. Who'd have thunk they had takeout restaurants? Okay, so maybe they had Uber Eats. Okay, it wasn't kind of like that, okay? So the thermopolium was an ancient form of takeout restaurant, an outdoor service counter that offered ready-to-eat food. The word thermopolium was actually meant a place where something hot was served. In 79 AD, an eruption wiped the city of Pompeii, leaving its citizens and, let's say, the entire social life of Pompeii kind of recorded in ash for the centuries to come. And, 1700 years later, somebody went there and excavated and was like, oh my god, these guys had takeout food. Well, it wasn't really like that. It took some years to study and to, analyze things. But yeah, we found about 150 of these ancient Roman fast food chains or fast food restaurants out in the city of Pompeii. And, just to say that, Pompeii is not the only city that had fast food kind of things, the thermopoliums. I don't know how to say that in Thermopolia, I think it's the plural of Thermopolium. I don't really know about that. Anyway, the poor citizens of Pompeii could order some ready-to-eat food, or the specialties of the era, which most likely included some sort of tomato-free pizza. And, mind you, that tomato did not really exist back then, because, I mean, it did exist, but it was not in Europe. Europeans didn't have tomatoes until they were imported from the New World. Right, so they would have pizzas based on cheese, onions, soup, pickles, eggs, fish, and wine. Romans and Greeks, they really, really like their wine, and probably other peoples as well. Anyway, over the years, archaeologists have discovered a number of thermopolia, not just in Pompeii, as I said, but also in the city of Herculaneum. And yes, I am reading most of this stuff because it's really hard to know this by heart, okay? So if you see me looking downwards, that's why. Anyway, that suggests that thermopolias were widespread across multiple Roman cities, and maybe it was something really common across the Roman world. Takeout food. Alright, since a long time ago. Modern soldiers seem to have the tendency of holding grudges for simple things such as missing Game of Thrones while they're out at war. Anyway, they will actually go to the length of writing a message on their bombs and missiles. Yeah, that's right. You know, it's not that the enemy will ever read those comments or those insults. And that's probably a good thing because these insults, they're just super inflammatory. They're explosive. Quite literally, actually. Anyway, this practice did not start with bombs or missiles. This is actually a very, very ancient practice, going all the way back to the Greeks and the Romans. It was the Greeks who invented writing insults on their ammunition. Back when slingshots were a weapon of choice, Greeks and Romans molded their ammunition out of lead, and these bullets, these lead bullets, would have the shape of an egg. Now, this shape has been said that it could help the bullet to stay in the sling while the slinger was slinging, or I don't know how to say this. I mean, he was, doing that with the sling and chew. Or it would just help the bullet stay on its track to hit the enemy right in the head. But hitting the enemy right in the head is simply not enough for a veteran soldier. Ho ho ho, no it isn't. You need to make the guy hurt, both physically and psychologically. So the troops had to improvise. Sometimes they actually heated the ammunition to put fire on thatched roofs. Sometimes they etched the things with the name of a deity, just to say, please Apollo, make my bullet stay true on its path to my enemy's head. Sometimes they would even draw really menacing animals. Look at my lead bullet, it has a scorpion, you're gonna die. I would probably be kind of scared, not of the animal there, but lead is pretty heavy, so you're gonna get your head done in if you take one of those things to the head, that's for sure. But anyway, the most hurtful bullets of all had insults written on them, or just witty comments, or just words on them, which is kind of weird. But the Romans did this quite frequently, and we have found a ton of these lead bullets spread around Roman battlefields across the Roman period. So that's quite fine. And they would say things such as, ouch! Okay, that's not very, very menacing. That's not very insulting. But they would say, be lodged well. Or they would say, oh, there's fruit for desserts. And fruit for dessert because, take a peach. Take, there's no tomato back then. So take tomato is a fruit. Yeah. They would say, this is a hard nut to crack, lead bullet nut. That's kind of funny. I kind of like this one. Or here's a sugar plum for you. That's also quite funny. So here it is. Greeks and Romans actually wrote insults or, witty comments on their lead bullets. Yay. This is the last fact on the ancient Roman world, and it's probably the grossest of them all. The Romans did a lot of things right regarding sanitation and health care, but this one is probably, while it actually kind of works, it's kind of gross, and you already know what it is. So the ancient Romans actually used urine as mouthwash, which is kind of dirty. And it was not just any urine, they used animal urine, okay, and human urine. That's even worse. I mean, why? Whoever thought, this guy just took a leak. Hey mate, can you pee on this bowl right here? I think I have my teeth dirty. Yeah, so please pour some pee on my mouth, right? Oh god damn it, no, let's just stop that. They would do this to whiten their teeth, and that actually works because of the ammonia that it's in the urine. But they wouldn't simply just gargle the urine in their mouth like, they wouldn't just do that. There was a process to this. There existed public jars in which the Romans could relieve themselves. To put it, this is a polite conversation. I just didn't say what I said, a couple minutes ago. And the citizens then waited until the urine was sterile and dissolved into ammonia. Now that's the thing that they actually wanted. And when these containers were full, they were collected and taken to a fulonica, or laundry, or whatever, to be diluted in water. So they would dilute the pee. Oh man, they would dilute the pee in water, and yeah, then they would maybe sometimes mix it with goat's milk or cow milk, because that would make it better, you know. Oh, do you want to drink pee? Ew, I'm not gonna drink pee, but I'm gonna put a little bit of goat milk on it. Oh, okay, then that's fine. I'm gonna drink that. Okay, they didn't drink it; they just gargled it, but it's the same. It's still gross. It's the same. So part of a verse from a Roman poet called Catullus, insulting a man named Ignatius. And it reads, "Now you're Spanish. In the country of Spain, while each man pisses, he's used to brushing his teeth and red gums with every morning. So the fact that your teeth are so polished just shows you're the more full of piss." That's yeah, that's quite bad. I don't like, if this was a common practice in the Roman world, then I'm guessing that most people, or most elite people, had their teeth quite, you know, pearly white. So everybody was full of piss. I don't get this insult. So maybe it wasn't such a common thing. That's my take. Okay. But anyway, it is said that the Romans actually placed great value on this pearly white thing, but it was a common insult to, you know, when you saw someone with really shiny teeth, you would just say that they were full of piss, you know, because teeth white, ammonia, pee. There goes. It makes sense. This, you know, I'm gonna finish this with a better fact, okay? Something quite interesting. Okay, so let's end the video on a little bit more of a serious note here, and we were gonna travel to China, Hubei province, and talk about the sword of Goujian. I don't know what's the proper spelling, but let's just go with Goujian. Or something like that, okay? So this is an artifact dating all the way back to the spring and autumn period of Chinese history, somewhere between the 8th and 5th centuries BC. Now, I don't know much about Chinese history. I really enjoyed the Romance of the Three Kingdoms TV series, and I read a little bit about the real characters and the real history behind it, and it's actually very interesting, but I've never read about this period in Chinese history. And so when I saw this sword out there, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. This is so interesting. I should probably learn more about this, and you know, about the end and beginnings of this period, because the most interesting periods in Chinese history is at the end and start of their periods, because that's when things really get shaken up. Anyway, let's go back to the sword of Goujian. This was just something that I wanted to say here. The sword was found in 1965, and it is remarkably well preserved, and that is the main thing that led me to talk about it, because just look at it. It's beautiful. This sword is beautifully crafted. It's made out of tin bronze, at least the blade is. And the blade is still kind of sharp, and it's roughly half a meter in length, or maybe 1 feet 7, the blade, right? And then there's also the hilt, which should be I actually don't know how long it is, but it should probably be around 15, maybe 20 centimeters, maybe something like this, you know. But just look at the beauty of the sword. I mean, it's just it's so beautiful. You know, the body of the blade is mainly made of copper, making it more pliant and less likely to shatter. Yes, I'm kind of reading, because this is a little bit of science. Like, they actually did scientific tests on the blade to see exactly what it was made of, and it's quite interesting. You know, the edges have more tin content than the core, making them harder and capable of retaining a sharper edge, which maybe that is exactly why it's such a sharp edge. I think this is so interesting. The sulfur also decreases the change of tarnish in the parton, so there's also sulfur in it, which is you know, interesting. It is likely that the chemical composition, along with the almost airtight scabbard, led to the exceptional state of preservation. So it was inside the scabbard And this cupboard must have been done, like it must have been a really tight fit, I'm assuming. And this is a testament to the skill and knowledge of the maker, as well as the power and influence of the owner, who is believed to have been Goujian, one of the last kings of the Yu during the spring and autumn period. So there you go. I mean, I think this sword is actually really good. I hope that it increased your appetite for some ancient Chinese history, because boy is it interesting. And I think you should check it out the same way as I'm probably gonna be doing that soon. Anyway, we have reached the end of this video, so if you want to see more from me, I mean, I have different kinds of work. I mean, I don't usually do videos like this one, but I think this is gonna start being a little bit more common. So if you want to watch something made by me, maybe some Total War, maybe some classical history, just you know, choose one of my videos, subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be more. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, this video was made because the channel just got to 1,000 subs, and you know what? You're only worthy of knowing this if you get here, or if you check the subscriber count. Anyway, the subscriber count has been over 1,000 for a couple of weeks now, but yeah, life's busy, you know, so I just got the chance to do the video. I'm gonna do it now. Right. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these 5 facts. I hope you're not too grossed out about the urine, you know, on the mouth, you know, mouthwash, urine, yes. And I'll see you guys on the next one. It was my pleasure. Wolf out. Whoosh.